So we're presenting the results of an interim analysis that is looking at a trial that we conducted, which was a phase 1b/2 trial of eribulin in combination with pembrolizumab for patients with metastatic triple-negative disease. These patients could have received up to 2 prior lines of chemotherapy for their metastatic disease. So initially we conducted a safety run-in to establish the recommended phase 2 dose of the combination, and then we subsequently enrolled the phase 2 portion of the trial to establish the efficacy. So we're only presenting the results from an interim analysis of the first 39 patients. Overall, when the study is fully presented, it will have 107 patients to present. So for the phase 1b portion of the study, we really were just looking to see if the regimen was safe and well tolerated, and it was. There were 7 patients that were enrolled into this portion of the study, and there were no dose-limiting toxicities that were seen. So the recommended phase 2 dose was really just the full dose of each agent, but given together. For the phase 2 portion of the trial, we found that the objective response rate was 33%. And again, this was in patients who had 0 to 2 prior lines of chemotherapy for their disease. We also looked at response rates by number of prior lines of therapy. So we had divided patients into 2 strata. For patients who had received no prior chemotherapy, the objective response rate was 41%. In those patients who had received 1 or 2 prior lines of chemotherapy, the objective response rate was 27%. So we did also look at response rate by PD-1 status, and the response rates were the same for those patients who were PD-1 positive as they were for those patients who were PD-1 negative, suggesting that PD-1 status really didn't predict response rates. So we hope to have the data for the full set of patients likely by the summer of next year. So hopefully we'll have results towards the end of next year. In terms of next steps, I think we need to see what the data shows in order to establish what if phase 3 study should be done. So it's certainly a very exciting time as we're earlier on in the development of immunotherapy in breast cancer. There's certainly several registrational studies that are ongoing looking at pembrolizumab. One trial is looking at it in the second and third line setting, comparing it to treatment of physician's choice. And so we'll need data from that to see if it ends up being a drug that works as monotherapy in unselected patients. I think this study is unique in a sense that it's combining immunotherapy with chemotherapy. And it's interesting that it doesn't seem like PD-1 status is necessarily a biomarker predictor when chemotherapy is given with immunotherapy. So it may make the applicability of immunotherapy be something that can be used in a broader range of patients.